Well, welcome to our new feature, Rob and Chris's Friday chat.
Friday catch up.
Friday catch up. I like
May
it.
possibly be filmed on a Thursday.
No, I'll edit that bit out. Okay, very good. Well, excellent. Nice to see you, Chris.
It's nice to see you too, mate.
So I thought, if we're going to have this chat on a Friday, are we? It might be worth if. Well, we often have chats, don't we? I was
Yeah.
thinking, and I thought, well, we're going to try and record it so you can see the everyday rumblings of two English blokes who've been developers for too many years, basically. So, first thing I was thinking, Chris, is it worth telling the viewers how you got into being a developer?
Yeah, well, it goes back right to the dark ages of the mid 90s. And do you remember a game called Half-Life?
I do. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
based on Quake engine, wasn't it? I used to
yeah,
play that well, that must be like 14, 15. And I wanted to get into modding it, I did little huts, little
yeah, yeah, yeah,
little ammo counters and stuff in the corner. So that was all C++.
yeah,
And so I tried to learn C++, but it was fairly advanced. Like I got some ways of doing it, editing all little CPP files that came with the SDK.
yeah.
Then I soon kind of gave up on it. It was a bit heavy. So I got into JavaScript and
Right.
HTML quite early to build websites,
Yeah.
you know. And who'd have thought that JavaScript was this silly little language that was designed just just so that you could make them buttons, them
Yeah.
buttons that move when you hover over them with the mouse. That was what it was good for in the 90s. And who'd know it'd become the operating system of the internet? It's crazy, isn't it? But
I remember developing for Internet Explorer,
yeah, oh, yeah.
cursing this unknown Safari and thinking, why won't that just
You'll
die?
never catch on.
What is this Max? Why do people use them? I'm
Why
not.
would you why use anything else but Internet Explorer or Netscape Navigator, of course?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, and Macromedia Flash used to do a bit with ActionScript and stuff, making little
MSN dial-up.
animations.
Oh, wow.
MS and that, yeah, yeah. And so yeah, that was kind of how I got into it really. I used to build little websites in my spare time when I was a teenager, and then fell out of it for probably about 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And then later on, I did a few things. And then later on, I was running a little cleaning business. And I wanted to write some software to plan my business.
Yeah.
And I thought, how do I do it? So I started getting into, I thought, oh, C++, well, that'd do it, And then I think it was you actually that put me onto .NET all the way back in 2011.
Yeah, because do you remember when we first started working together and we had a customer, and every time he'd ring you directly, it would be a window cleaning voicemail. It would be like something out of Only Fools and Horses or something, window cleaning and
Yeah,
corporate software development.
provide other services out the back of my van.
That was funny. Yeah. So very good. So
Yeah,
2011, yeah, is that when we kind
yeah,
of
2011.
working
Yeah,
together?
because I think it was you that put me onto because I thought I'd completely fallen out of touch with it,
Yeah,
and I thought, oh, it's C++. And I knew kind of Java, a little bit web stuff, but I wanted to build a mobile app,
yeah,
and so I didn't know where to start with it. And then I kind of got into, and you said to me, "Have you tried .NET, C
yeah,
Sharp?" Didn't know what it was. You lent me, I think it was C Sharp. The ones with the animals in the front, the O'Reilly books.
yeah. But it's
Really good.
around
Yeah, I
here
think you probably
somewhere,
get
I
them
think.
somewhere.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was like C Sharp 4, 3,
That's
something
it.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
And so yeah, and then just got into .NET for quite a few years. We worked together quite a lot, didn't we?
We did.
A couple
We
of little
did.
products and so on.
It was all what was not MFC because that was my C plus plus days.
Um,
What was the
WPF, WPF,
WPF we did for visual
yeah,
stuff, but what was for the web stuff? What did we use for
MVC,
MVC? That's it. Yeah,
MVC,
yeah,
ASP.NET.
yeah.
Yes, MVC.
That's it.
Microsoft is great at naming stuff, isn't it? Let's have a completely different technology stack and call it something very similar to the previous one.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Don't get me started on Nest and Next, but anyway, yeah, yeah. I get
Next,
the point.
yeah, Skype and Skype.
So yeah, that's right. So we did that, and then for mobile development, I think you kind of I branched off into. I mean, I was always SharePoint, wasn't I? So then we branched off. You did some mobile development, so you learned some technologies that would never be replaced, didn't you? In
Oh
mobile.
yeah, yeah. Well, that was jQuery Mobile, wasn't there?
Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
back in well, it was 2010, 11,
Yeah,
like Knockout JS, that kind
yeah,
of thing.
yeah,
And then
Angular
Oh,
1 was brilliant, wasn't it? Yeah.
what was that? Sorry.
Angular 1, we used
Angular
JS.
JS. It was brilliant with Angular JS. It's very simple,
Yeah.
Just did what it needed to do. But yeah, there was a few little things we tried. So I did a bit with MVC, and
Mm.
then I started picking up my own client work, and then I was doing quite a bit with MVC in the back end, and lots of jQuery on the front end,
Yeah.
and then just went down a .NET route for a few years,
Yeah.
really. But that's kind of stuck around, hasn't it? But a lot of the things that Microsoft came up with, things like Silverlight
Yeah.
and Xamarin,
Yeah. Xamarin.
I've kind of gone by the wayside, which I
Lots
kind
of
of worry when you
Telerik stuff, wasn't there?
yeah.
Yeah.
Say again.
Telerik. We used to do a lot
Oh,
of Telerik.
Telerik, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Telerik. Yeah, that was all like custom components, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Kendo.
Yeah.
Kendo UI
Endo,
stuff.
that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was all the ASP.NET Web Form and stuff, wasn't it? But yeah, it's really quite clunky stuff, And I see things like Blazor now, and
Yeah.
I do worry. I think, do I want to support it? Because it's
Mm.
like, are Microsoft going to lose interest? They have a track record of it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But the .NET stuff has stuck around for years, and I've been off doing. I've tried other stuff and did a bit of PHP for a bit, quite a lot of Node.js, but I've kind of come back around to ASP.NET Core,
Yeah.
really. Doing quite a bit of Angular on front end.
Yeah. So that's
So
been your kind of
that's
world,
been,
hasn't it?
yeah, but your experience goes back a lot further, doesn't it? I mean, from your mug there, not your face, what you're drinking out.
I
Yeah,
know. I
that's
love my
Spectrum
Spectrum.
there. Yeah,
I got myself. I found this Spectrum machine language for the absolute beginner. So
keeping it simple.
So that was my start, yeah, in the 80s. I mean, although
Yeah,
my uncle did have a TRS-80 computer, that's my first exposure, if you like, to computing.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a ZX Spectrum and I had 16K because my uncle, who was in IT, said I'd never need any more memory than that.
Never do more.
It explains why a lot of my Macs have 8 gig when yours have all got 16. But anyway, it probably helps.
You'll never need more than that. You surely never need more than that.
So ZX Spectrum Basic, and I had some listings printed in magazines, earned a bit of pocket money, and then I learnt assembler a lot later in life as a hobby. I could never get onto it back in the day, and then my first introduction to commercial stuff was DBase and Clipper, was what we programmed in, which was it seemed very complex at the time.
That Borland DBase, that was.
But then, they had their own version of it and kind of thing. But it was this kind of Clipper, CA Clipper. So I'll have to maybe put a picture up on here.
Yeah,
But yeah, I did that for many years, and then Visual Basic was my first introduction into Windows because we used Windows. I mean, at college I did things like Fortran and really scary stuff like that. And then it was Visual Basic, and then I got into C++ and C and C++ with MFC, the Microsoft Foundation classes, which sounds very much like MVC, and moved on from that, to ASP.NET, and then SharePoint I got into. So there was a lot of C# development. I remember being at the first version of C# into .NET, so loads of .NET development, and then it moved to the client-side model, and I got introduced into, I think by you actually, things like React. And the last decade has been Node.js, React, web technology is SharePoint, really. So, but yeah, all the way back to assembly language and things like that to how it is today. So that was in the 80s. So
yeah, when you say you sent it into a magazine, people actually used to copy the code out of the magazine, didn't they?
So it's funny you should say that because I found this. I went to the the Northwest Computing Museum, and the reason I got this magazine was because it had an advert in it for it was a local Grimsby firm where I lived at the time, who were doing a game called Return of the Jedi, spelled different.
Oh,
I don't know where they got the idea.
That's not a copyright infringement at all, is it? That's nothing.
But this is interesting. If you look at that, that's what you were talking about. So I don't know if you go up on camera, but you would type in a listing and you would save it to cassette. And I actually blame my impatience today on my patience back then, I think.
Yeah, you used it all up in the 80s.
And because it was 1980s, when Mum would put the kettle on, it would interfere with the signal on the computer and it would reset itself. You'd have to start all over again because obviously how we ever survived with the electrics and stuff to today. But yeah, that's what we did. So, well, we've used all those tools, and I thought one last question, despite being doing this for years, why did we do Robert's Dev Talk? I think it was to do this to begin with, wasn't it? And we love doing the tutorials, but just to have a chat about development, really, and hope that others find it interesting.
I think you originally, because you did a lot of SharePoint training, didn't you? So you would go out on site, places like universities, around the UK. You go out on site and you do training, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And I said to you, well, why don't you record it and do a YouTube series about it?
Yeah.
And that was where you first started doing the SharePoint SPFX videos.
Yeah.
And then we said, oh, should we do a few together? Wouldn't it be great if we just sat down and just talked about development?
Yeah.
And that was what, 3, 4, 5 years ago. And it's the first time we've actually got round to filming a video together.
But we're still going to do tutorials and stuff, aren't we? But it's just a nice camera. Well, that's great, Chris. We'll leave it there. But it'll be interesting to talk a bit more about the channel next time. So until next time, then, Chris.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
See you again. Cheers.
Cheers.